What up, and welcome. I'm Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer. This is my YouTube channel, Coded Design, where I teach coding and user interface design. In this video, we are going to create a Google UI clone. As you can see, this is what we are going to create. What are we going to use to create this Google UI clone? Number one, we are going to use NextJS. Obviously, NextJS comes with ReactJS, and also we are going to use Tailwind CSS. Okay, the approach in this video is going to be mix and match. What do I mean by mix and match? We will figure things out as we go. What is important, or the takeaway from this video, is good programming practices and principle. That is the key. All languages and frameworks, they are just a syntax. What do I mean by that? A certain way of doing things. React is just a certain way of doing things. NextJS is a certain way of doing things. Tailwind CSS is just a certain way of doing things. But good programming practices, they are the key, and they are number one. Okay, so we are going to create this UI interface, which is Google user interface. Okay, so what I did as a graphic designer, I've decided to create some sort of icons. All the icons that we see there, I've decided to just recreate them. As you can see, these are not perfect because this is not a graphic design tutorial, but I've just created these icons for the sake of teaching and showing you everything, or how do I start things from scratch. Okay, so these are the icons, and I've already exported them. Okay, without wasting time, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, the one thing that I would want you to install for me, it's something called Node.js. Okay, so you will have to let's say Node.js download. You will have to, in your computer, install Node.js so that you can be able to run all the commands that we are going to run. And also you can install Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Code, which is this one. Okay, Visual Studio Code, and download Visual Studio Code. And I think those are the two things that I already did by myself. Okay, and then what else? I think that's about it. Okay, so we are going to start from scratch, and we are going to use the internet. We're going to rely on the internet to help us with everything. As somebody, obviously, as the YouTube channel, or people who try to teach programming, we always come with what must be done and how to do things. This video is going to be somewhat different. We are going to learn together, because I'm still also learning NextJS, ReactJS, and also Tailwind CSS. So it's like me and you, we are learning together at the same time. So without wasting time, let's just jump straight into it. Okay, this is Visual Studio Code. As you can see, this folder, it's empty. We're going to start everything from scratch. So the first thing that we are going to do, we're going to go to document. We are going to create a folder, and we are going to name this folder Google. Okay, and that's about it. And then on Visual Studio Code, we are going to open that folder. Okay, open that folder. And then we're going to navigate to document, and then not download, document, and then we're going to look for Google, and then we select open. Okay, let's just wait for the folder to open. And then after that, we need to create a Next.js application. Okay, so we need to open a terminal, new terminal. Okay, and then in our terminal, we need to create a Next.js application. Meanwhile, the terminal is loading. Let's just quickly go to Google, as I've told you that we are going to Google things and search things around. Okay, let's say Next.js. Okay, let me load my on-screen keyboard. Why am I going to do that? It's because the C of my keyboard doesn't work, or it doesn't work properly. Whenever I press the key doesn't press, so I rely on the on-screen keyboard. So maybe you might also notice that when I'm renaming things, if it's going to need the key C on my keyboard, then I don't type that usually, but I will show you in most of things. Okay, so this is what I want: NextJS create app latest. This is the command that I want us to copy and paste for creating a NextJS app. Let me just explain some few things in the meantime. Okay, NextJS and ReactJS, please for now treat them as the same thing, one being the extension of the other. So NextJS extend ReactJS. It offer all the things that ReactJS really doesn't offer. So don't maybe treat NextJS as a separate thing and ReactJS as a separate thing for now. Okay, so let's just go here. This is what we need: npx create next app latest. Okay, so this is what we want. Copy this. Okay, and then from then we're going to go to Visual Studio Code. I can delete this. Okay, now here in this terminal we are supposed to see some sort of a location. Okay, this is the location that I want, a location to this Google folder. So that means now we are good to go. So I'm just going to paste that as it is. Okay, so this is how you create a Next.js application. If we see something that is some sort of unique and different from, let's say, what I know at the moment, we will solve it as we go. Okay, let's click enter and see. Okay, let's just wait. Maybe it's going to ask us for the name of the application and also some frameworks that we want to do, for instance like Tailwind, CSS. We just have to say no, no, yes, no, no, yes, until it creates a folder here, which the folder we will name it, let's say G app. That's what we are going to name it, which means Google application. Okay, so we just need to wait for this. Okay, please don't forget to install your Node.js in your PC and also install your own Visual Studio Code, and those are the only things that I think I already did like beforehand. Otherwise, we're going to use this documentation and the Tailwind CSS. Okay, obviously I don't know everything about Tailwind CSS. I'm still learning about it, but I know a thing or two about vanilla actual CSS. So if I can't do something with Tailwind CSS, obviously I will just do that portion of the code with what? With pure CSS. Okay, let's just quickly go back and see. We are winning. Okay, as you can see, create what. Okay, press OK to proceed. Let me press Y. Okay, that means it's continuing. Also, the other thing, I think you must be online, you must be connected to the internet. Now it's asking us what is your project name. Remember, we said it's going to be G app, so this is our project name. Do you want to use TypeScript? No, at the moment. So as you can see, no is highlighted. Click OK. Would you like to use ASLint? No, I know nothing about that, if I can be honest. Do you want to use Tailwind CSS? Yes, I want to use Tailwind CSS. Okay, would you like to use SRC directly? No. Okay, would you like to use app router? Let's just click yes for now, since it's recommended. Even though I'm not sure if we are going to use it or we are not going to use it, we click yes. Okay, default alias, no, we don't want to use that. Okay, as you can see, there is a folder here that has been created automatically. I think it's still creating it. So guys, that's about it. As you can see, I didn't come up with all the commands ready in my mind. What I did, I've just used the Next.js documentation, and we've just created the Next.js application. Okay, please bear with me, or please understand that there are things that are not within my control, things like the background noise. Obviously at the moment I'm staying in the location where obviously everybody has got some sort of a freedom to do whatever they want to do. We own the public space, so if somebody wants to make noise and they are having fun, there's nothing we can do about that. I've got some limitation as to that. And what else? And also I will pause the video here and there when somebody is knocking at the door, but obviously I will just let you know that somebody is knocking, and then in my editing I will chop things, and then so that we can get a perfect video. When passion calls, you always jump into code and try to teach whenever you can, irregardless of the circumstances. Okay, let's just go back to Visual Studio Code. Obviously things might be a little bit slower. That's not much of a problem. Now in the meantime, let's just as I've told you that I have recreated these icons, so let's just take these icons and push them to the right folder. Okay, so this is Figma. Figma, it's a prototyping web application. It's free. You can just go to figma.com and just register a free account and do whatever you want. Okay, so whenever you save an icon, obviously it stays on the download folder. So I've already exported this icon as SVG. SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics. Okay, so let's just go to the downloads and highlight all the folder. So as you can see, this is the Alibaba logo, this is Google, this is Plus, this is Twitch, suppose, but because of it will need a key C that doesn't work in my keyboard, so I just renamed it as Twi. Okay, also this is Mike, also it will need C, so I've just decided to name it MI, and that's it. So let's copy these so that we can save them. Okay, I believe this is copy. Okay, so that we can save them. Where is Google? Here is Google. Let's just click here. I hope the folder that I'm looking for is already there, and that folder is public. Okay, under public here are some SVGs, so let me say open a new folder here. For now, let me just say icons. Obviously my C doesn't work. Let me just say SVGs. Okay, I think let me just say SVG. Okay, SVG. Let me paste all of these here. In the meantime, okay, all of our SVGs are here. So what we are going to do when this application is done, some sort of installing, we are going to run it, and then it's going to show somewhere here. Okay, it's going to show on local host 3000. I think it's this one, or let's check this one. Obviously now there is nothing that will show, but I want this to be here so that when we are done I can just come here and click enter. As you can see, nothing shows at the moment. Okay, so when something shows here, we are going to copy some of the code that is already here so that we don't have to write everything from scratch. As I've told you that I don't know all the syntaxes by my head, but I do understand what's going on in the background. Okay, let's see. I think we are done. As you can see, this is success. Okay, what are the things that usually happens besides this in case maybe your screen doesn't show this success? I think most important, or most of all, it's Node.js. If you don't have Node.js, obviously you won't be able to do this. But if you face any error, maybe there is a red line here, don't worry, that's a common thing. Just look at whatever error, copy and paste it on Google and check what might be the problem and correct it accordingly. That's my best tip that I can give you, because even me before, I used to have a lot of errors here. Okay, now what we want to do, remember this folder Google, it's not the folder that contains the actual files. As you can see, it's a parent folder, so we need to some sort of navigate to this folder so that the terminal can be inside this gf folder, because the gf folder is the actual folder that has got the application. So we need to type cd, then we need c again. Okay, that's not a problem. cd, okay, we are saying gf. Okay, that means we are pointing directly to gf. Okay, now the actual end folder is Google. Now as you can see, we are inside a gf. Okay, what we are going to do, let's type npm run dev. Okay, this is how we run the actual application so that it can run on this local host URL. Okay, let's click enter. Okay, so whatever that we are going to see there, which is here, when we are deleting everything, we will keep some of the code because we are going to edit from it, but I will explain in details what's going on. Okay, let's see. Okay, success npm run dev is telling us that the URL for our application is this. So let's highlight here and click follow the link, or we can just come here and refresh. Come here and click enter. Okay, as you can see, this is where we were before. We are just refreshing here. Okay, meanwhile it's loading, let's just look at the folder structure. Okay, this is a NextJS application. Okay, this is NextJS application. So let's just look at this folder structure. This is this is gf, and this is the actual application. As you can see, we've got the layouts, we've got globals.css. This is where we are going to write our css, not Tailwind css, our vanilla css. This is layout, and this is page. Okay, and then what else? Let's just look at public. Okay, on public we've got our SVGs here, and this is the folder that I have created. Okay, I think that's about it. I think the main page that we are going to use is this one. Let's just quickly check what's there. I think this is the main page that has got everything. Obviously for now we are not going to explain much about the layout. Okay, let's just come here and see. Okay, okay, this is the main page. Okay, this main page is the one that is here. Okay, we are supposed to see something here. I don't know, maybe my computer is a bit slow. Okay, but between this page and this one, we are supposed to see information about NextJS. Okay, but that's not a problem. Let's just come here. Okay, so this is the actual page. Okay, now let's talk about other things. The file structure. Okay, what we are going to do now, remember, React, it's a combination of HTML and JavaScript. Okay, so if you've got a page with an extension .js, it can work, but also at the same time you can rename this to .jsx. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. Why must we convert it to JSX? You know, the IntelliSense, that capability of a code editor to help you to finish up things and all those things. It's not available when the extension is just .js. So, but when you make it .jsx, okay, React, what can I say? React IntelliSense become active and you can use it. So there is no difference between JS and JSX in terms of the file, extension. Okay, there is no error that will happen. So let's quickly do that. and change this to JSX instead of just JS. Okay, instead of just JavaScript. Remember, React is a combination of JavaScript and HTML. That's why it allows JS normally. Okay, as you can see now, this icon has changed into JSX, so meaning that now the code editor recognizes this page as a React page. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, these class names, this is Tailwind CSS. This class name, it's Tailwind CSS. Okay, let's just go back and see. At least by now we're supposed to see something. Okay, time invalid promise resolved, lazy element. Okay, let's just go here and see. Same thing. Okay, maybe it might happen we have made some changes while it's busy. Okay, what might have happened before, maybe it was busy compiling, and what we did, we have changed this from JS to JSX. Maybe we have disturbed the execution, but obviously, as you can see, refreshing has solved that problem. Even here we can just refresh. Okay, I think this teaches us a thing or two about waiting for this engine to run fully and show things before you go to the back end or to the code and edit things. Okay, I'm happy that we are here. It means a lot to me, somebody who's also learning JS and React. Okay, NextJS and React. So I'm happy that we are here. We can close this part. Okay, and then now we are going to work with this part. Okay, so this is an SVG. Okay, this one and this one is an SVG. So what we are going to do, we need to copy the way in which they are adding this SVG, because we are learning, so it's better to learn from the masters. So we are going to copy the way in which they are learning this SVG. They are using a Next.js component which is called image, and that image, it takes the resource, the src, which is the directory or the path to your SVG, and also it can take the width and height of the icon. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, let's see. This is an image. Okay, this is a Next.js image, as you can see. Okay, instead of going straight to vessel.svg, which is here on public, as you can see, it's this one, vessel.svg. We are going to go to our own SVGs, meaning that here we can say SVG. Okay, and then from then let's choose google.svg. I wish I could have just, I don't like capital letters. Sometimes we forget to do things with capital letters, so that's why I've just made it a small letter. As you can see, instead of that one, we are now going to the Google. Okay, this is some sort of a syntax for using the Next.js component, which is an image. Remember, I told you we are going to copy some of the code that is already here and modify it the way we want to. So in the meantime, we just want to test if it's going to load the Google image. Okay, the other thing to note, that as we save, this will automatically refresh and make changes. Boom, as you can see, we are making a progress. If this happens the way we want to, then that means that now what we can do our first task. What our first task will be, okay, when it comes to React, okay, you can some sort of, what can I say, you can create a not self-aware, like self-contained objects, okay, or self-contained component. What do I mean by that? Instead, let's say traditionally you write the whole HTML in one page with the header and div tags and everything. Here in ReactJS, okay, remember React and Next.js, for now treat them as the same thing. Sometimes I'm going to say Next.js, that will mean I'm referring to a certain functionality that ReactJS doesn't offer. Hence, I'm going to say in NextJS. Sometimes I'm just going to say in ReactJS. So please be aware of those things. So in React, you can create this part as a separate component in a separate file for code reusability, so that when you want to use it in another project, you can just copy it and use it, so that you cannot repeat yourself. If you treat this as a component, that means this will change, this name and the description, everything will remain the same. That means you can just write this component once and duplicate it. Now let's be smart. Let's take this functionality that we are going to, let's take the code that we are going to copy from them, this one, and from this code we are going to create our first component that we are going to reuse. Okay, let's jump straight into that. Okay, I'm hoping that you are learning something. Okay, if you do, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button for my channel to grow. Okay, so now what we are going to do, okay, we are getting into ReactJS. Let's create a component. Okay, let me use Figma here. Okay, we are going to create a component. Zoom out. We are going to use this one. These are all my icons. Let me move them up a little bit. Okay, so let me zoom in. Okay, I'm happy with this. We are going to create a component. Okay, this component will have an icon. Okay, this component, I'm looking for a circle. This component will have an icon. Okay, let me just change the color there. Okay, this component will have an icon. Okay, this icon will have different sizes. Okay, the icon might be big and the icon might be small. Okay, so this component, what can I call this component? Let me call this component, because I am struggling with typing C in my keyboard, I'm going to call this component SVG, but I would have loved to call it icon. Okay, we are going to have a component called SVG. Okay, this SVG is going to receive, for now, let's just say as parameters, the icon name. Okay, the icon name and the size. Okay, and then from then, based on that, it's going to render and give us the icon. It's either this one, or this one, based on the name. For instance, we can pass here, let's say YouTube. Okay, and then we say the size, sorry, let's say it's gonna be 5 pixels. Let's say, oh, it's gonna be 5, and then this component will render this image for us. Simple, right? Yes. Okay, let's now go and create that. Okay, I think that's all, but the only thing that I'm worried about, I don't think I have saved a YouTube icon here. Okay, so let me just quickly do that. Okay, export. Let me just rename this to YouTube instead of being a group. Let me say YT. Okay, I'm happy with that. Click it and then go to export SVG, export it, and then here is YouTube exported. Let's just quickly go to downloads, download, copy YouTube YT, copy it and go back. Okay, and paste it here, Control V. Okay, that means we've got YouTube there. Okay, sorry about that, I forgot to export that one. Okay, so where we are going to create a component called SVG. It's going to take the name of the SVG that we want to render and the size, and that's it. So let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. Okay, as I've told you that as much as we don't know much about NextJS and ReactJS, about coding skill and thinking and some sort of technique and good programming practices are very important. Okay, so now in our app folder, okay, which is this one, let's create a folder. Okay, we need to name the folder component. I think now let me start to use my my on-screen keyboard, because now I'm going to run away from this C components. Okay, components. Okay, now instead of naming it component, I'm going to name it component, because I'm running away from this C, and then things are going to be ugly and we are going to confuse ourselves. Okay, so now I've got a folder called components. Okay, now let's create a React component. Okay, the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to create a file. Okay, remember we said we are going to name that component svg, okay, dot jsx. Okay, I'm happy with that. We've got our first file, jsx file. Okay, and then what we are going to do here, okay, we need to import the NextJS image. Where are we going to get that? We are smart. We are going to copy it from here. Copy and paste. We are learning from the masters. Okay, we are telling this file that we are going to need this component. This component is coming from where? From NextJS. This is some sort of a NextJS capability. Remember, I told you that NextJS extends ReactJS, and I told you that I'm going to say ReactJS and sometimes I'm going to say NextJS. So please treat these as some sort of the same thing, because they are achieving the same thing, but the other one extends the other one, right? Okay, let's continue. We are done importing this. Okay, now let me see. Okay, and then from there we need to create a function. Okay, obviously here they just what can I say, combined everything in one place, but for me I'm not going to do that. Okay, let's create a function. Okay, this is just a JavaScript function. The function is going to be svg. It's going to be svg. This is just a normal JavaScript function, as you can see. Okay, and then inside this function is going to render some sort of, let's say, HTML. Okay, so we have to write here run. Okay, run and then brackets. I don't know why it does this. Run brackets. Okay, this is supposed to be, it's not supposed to be this color, but it's fine. Okay, let me just save and quickly reference here. Oh, sorry, this is supposed to be return. Sorry for that. This is supposed to be return. Okay, now I'm happy with this. And then from then, this component, it's supposed to return something. It's supposed to render HTML. So for now, let's just type h1. Okay, I think you are used to this. Okay, let's say svg test. Okay, as you can see, this function is supposed to return what? To return HTML. Okay, obviously this is your normal HTML, but this return and function and everything is JavaScript. As you can see that JSX is a combination of HTML and JavaScript. So if you want to know what type of a file is this or syntax, this is JSX. Now let's continue. Okay, now we are not done here. When we are done, we need to export this this function, so that it's more like, so that it can be actually rendered. Okay, so we need to say export default. Is this export default? Export default, and what that default is svg. Okay, I think that is it. Okay, so this function that will render the HTML, after we are done with it, we need to export it as a default, and then we are done. Okay, can we go ahead and test this component, because we've just created a ReactJS component? Can we just test it to see if we are going to be able to see this svg test? Okay, let's just go back to our nope, this is what I want, to our app. Let's see if it still runs. There is no problem. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to go to this page. Okay, the same way we are importing this image from SVG, okay, as a component, it's the same way we are going to import this SVG component. Okay, so let's quickly do that. Okay, import. What we want to import, we want to import SVG. Okay, we want to import SVG from, we open this, we want to import it from components. Okay, we want to import this from components. Let's type our C, from components, and then forward slash, what else do we want? We want SVG. Okay, SVG. Okay, I think it's this one. Okay, and that's about it. That's about it. I think so. Obviously, if it doesn't work, obviously we will make some adjustment until we get it right. Okay, let's see after saving if we don't have any errors and complaint. Module not found, components SVG. Now I think it works. Let's just make sure. Okay, let's see if it's going to throw an error or it's not going to throw an error. Okay, module not found. Okay, can't resolve, components SVG, not a problem. Okay, HTTP docs module not found, that is not a problem. We just need to make some adjustments here. Okay, what's the first thing that we can do from here? Number one, let's type the full extension JSX. Okay, that's the first thing that we are going to do. Let's rerun it and test. Okay, as you can see, even though we've got the JSX, still it's not found, not a problem. Let's see what else we can do. Let's just type a forward slash here. Okay, let's type a forward slash here to see if it's going to go to this app directory, and then components, because you can see I think I've been careless with my spelling. Okay, this is components. Let me copy this, but here this is not components. My apologies for that. Let's paste as it is. Okay, without the forward slash, let's first save this one. At least we have recognized a mistake. Okay, let's just go there and check. Okay, module not found. Okay, okay, we're done. Components. Okay, components. Now let's just put a forward slash there. This is component and this is one is component. Let's just put a forward slash and see. Okay, 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 components SVG, image from next, import SVG from components. Okay, it's not working. That's not a problem. Okay, just for the last time, check where is components svg.jsx. Okay, this is components and this is app. Now we need to know how to navigate to this app folder. Okay, usually when you hover over this, it tells you exactly the folder location. As you can see, the folder location for this, as you can see, this is it. Okay, now we need to check if we can see, we need to check if we are able to see this path. Okay, SVG is declared but not used. Okay, let me try to use this SVG component. Where, let me just try to use it here. Okay, SVG. Okay, as you can see, let me make it capital letter S. My apologies for that. capital letter S, okay, and capital letter S, okay. Why I was not happy with this blue color? The reason is all the components are green. Okay, so now it's not going to tell us this has been imported but not used, because as you can see we have used it, but we just need to be sure if does the program imports this component. Okay, so this is what we want. When we highlight over here, we want to see this what can I say, we want to see that directory. For now, let's just refresh and see if we still see that error. If we have an error, don't mind, we are almost there. We are going to quickly fix it. As you can see, this is giving us some hints. Do you mean dot whatever whatever whatever? Yes, I think this is what we mean, but when I was trying to figure it out before, I forgot to put that dot. That's not a problem, let's just put it there. Okay, let's see now if we can get something. As you can see, this dot forward slash, it's redirecting us to what? To the app folder, components, and then SVG. I think one more thing, we will just have to put .jsx here. If we were only using this JS, this was not going to be a problem, but now because of it's a JSX, we will just need to put that .jsx. Okay, as you can see guys, we are winning. We are getting there. As you can see, we are winning. We are getting there. We have removed the error, and also here is our SVG test. Even if we don't have this .jsx, okay, even if we don't have it, let's see when we have it, if are we going to face any errors. No errors. As you can see, we have just created our first component. Okay, let me see if all my things are still recording. Yes, we have just created our first component. And also what I'm thinking, this video doesn't have to be super long. Now let me just wrap things up so that I can make it some sort of 2 videos instead of 1 video. Okay, because this one it's already long, but we have just created a component and we have used it. Okay, let's test if that is the component that we are using. This is the SVG component. Let's say using. Okay, save and go back. As you can see, here is it. Now we are just taking some sort of the advantage of ReactJS. So that's about it. Let's just quickly recap what we did. We have just created a React component. Here is it. It's a function that must return an HTML, and then from then you need to export that HTML. Let's quickly jump here. Here, as you can see, they have exported the function at the same line where they are declaring it on line 5, as you can see. So they don't need to say export default home, but us, we have just written in a function first, the function first, and then after that we have exported it after. Okay guys, I think let's end this video here and then do another follow-up video that where we will start to erase everything here, and we will start to create the, what can I say, our component. So as a bonus, before I end this video, let's just quickly copy and paste this. Where is that image? Let's just copy this image tag. Okay, it starts here and it ends here. So let's just copy this image tag, copy it, copy. As a bonus, go back here, let's paste it here. Okay, remember we already imported that image, so that means we can use it here. And then instead of saying Google here, let's go to our public, go to our SVG. Let's take MI. Let me change it to small letter. I like small letters. MI, which is, it's a mic. Okay, MI, save, Now instead of the word that was here, the text, we are supposed to have rendered the mic, as you can see. Voila, that means we are winning. It's too big, yes. How can we make it small? Let's just make it 20 here and 20 here. In the next video, we are going to make this to be dynamic, meaning that this name is going to be dynamic. I will show you how we are going to do that, and also the height is going to be dynamic. Okay. As you can see, now the mic has changed. Guys, I'm Matthew Msengati, the designer and developer. I'm happy with what we have came up with. Let's make this video number 1. On the next video, we are going to erase everything that is here so that we can create this, so that we can create this interface. I hope you are learning something, and I'm happy that we are here in terms of NextJS and ReactJS. As you have seen, I am also learning the platform or the framework, NextJS and ReactJS and Tailwind. So guys, in the next video, we are going to erase everything that is here, and then we create an interface like this one. Otherwise, for me, if you haven't subscribed, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. See you on the next one. Thank you so much.